So I guess I'm gonna apologize straight off. Some of there's a bit of jump cuts in between when drawing as well as into the coloring phase, because I just completely forgot, not forgot, more like I just didn't want to wait, and I was just so engrossed. I wanted to finish this. I wanted to keep going. I wanted to keep drawing or doing whatever I was doing at the time, and not have to wait an hour or to about 2 hours for the camera battery to recharge, since I don't have a spare battery for my camera. So again, I'm apologizing. Now on to what this is. This is for Draw with Jazza's Challenge of the Month, which just for May 2017 it was level cap. And so when I went off of my idea was that to use Silvally, a synthetic Pokemon created to defeat the Ultra Beasts, or slay them, or Beast. Well, it was called Beast. The project name was Beast Killer. For if you were to go look back in the Sun and Moon, Silvally was designed to. It was also designed to take on not to take on, but to shift into multiple types using a memory disk, like similar to what Arceus is doing, because Silvally, the scientists at the Aether Foundation, based Silvally off Arceus in general, in which Silvally's original name was Type Full. But the project was a failure as it was, and instead, Silvally, or Type Full at the time, the 3 copies of it, not 3 copies, but there was 3 of them. I'm trying to speak words, but I'm nervous, okay? But, going back into what I was doing, saying, they rejected basically the Arceus system and went on a rampage. They were then subdued and then put into cryosleep or something. They were then just put into storage, I guess is one way of putting it, with an inhibitor on them to prevent them from, I guess, losing control because of the system. But now going on to what I was thinking when I was doing with this was with Type Full. I wanted to make it more look like a god, more like majestic, more like what it would actually be. So in other words, I guess when you said Type God. But how I went on with doing that was I kept most of the main elements of Type Full or Silvally, but added on to what I would imagine it to look like if it were a god. Like, since it was based off, Silvally was based off, or say it's when when scientists were designing it in Sun and Moon. But now that what I've done explaining what my idea, why Silvally, it was the first thing that came to my mind. Now going into what the challenges were when I was doing this. One of them was, as you could tell, was his front legs. If you were to notice, like, just the tiny details of the back claw the front 2 claws are connected to the back one, which is then connected to the rest of the arm, the front part of the front leg, like it was a ball joint. Which another thing is near the top where the fur meets the reptilian-esque claws, I guess. And another one of them was, this was my first, when I did for the coloring, it was, like I said, it was Copic markers to be exact, and, which is the same thing, but, another part of it, what I was challenging was the fact that, I guess one way of putting it, I didn't have that many. I didn't have like 72 of them or stuff like that. I only had about 38 to work with, and I didn't have a gray, so there was that as well. Another one of the challenges was that it was in color. Not exactly. I must think how that. I don't normally do color. The only thing I did that was color-wise was a chalk pastel drawing or art piece, whatever. That the only thing I did was the background, and it was more of a silhouette drawing than anything, where the main subject was basically just a shadow, a black shadow, as well as the land. But again, going on with one other challenges that this was difficult, as in, this was my first extensive project in over maybe a year or so, for drawing-wise, because I was suffering from depression, and after some events that made my depression worse, I just lost, I guess, the drive, the spark to draw, which was one of my favorite things to do. So when I ended up looking at that video, the challenge video, I actually ended up getting that spark back, but I like to say I was a bit rusty in one way of putting it, what I felt like when I was doing this, but I thoroughly enjoyed doing it. It was really fun, not hilarious, but it was fun to do, even though there was some parts where I was stumped that I had to go take a couple hours to calm down and think of how I would do it, which was the front legs. But that was another one of the things that were, I think I said it once, I'll say it again, challenging, because the posing it the way, because I put Silvally on his hind, standing up like a horse, which is another thing that I found that when I was looking at him again, how similar it was that. And then since Silvally being a creature, a Pokemon that was created to kill or slay the Ultra Beasts, I put Nebian, or Cosmog, because Cosmog was, I guess, if you look back at the Sun and Moon and stuff, and Cosmog was said to be an Ultra Beast, since it was able to open up wormholes. So, since I made him look in an attacking position, I put poor Cosmog / Nebby cowering in the corner of the page with what I believe is a scared look. But I guess going back into what I thought was challenging, I said it was my first time using Copic markers. Another one of the things was I have a bit of a shaky hand. I guess when it just comes to tracing a little, it's a lot harder for me to, I guess, a little bit harder for me to keep a steady hand and not have lines cross into the other and all that. But, I believe that's all I actually do have to say now. Other than the fact, my opinion of this, my entire, I actually liked it. I enjoyed this. This was, I believe, a good time for first time using Copic markers, and I guess for doing something that was my first project after struggling to get on my depression, even though I still have it, but struggling to draw. It turned out really great, in my opinion. I'm very proud of it. And I guess see you next time I upload I guess this will be. I will shut up now, and I will let you enjoy the rest of the music and the rest of the time me coloring Silvally.